Oh man, you know what? I love to do what I do. Tonight, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence, and we're also going to focus on the need to focus on that in the workplace. Good evening. Welcome. My name is Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. This is Small Biz Bites. And man, we have a doozy. We have a doozy on deck tonight. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence, OM and all the G's. OM and all the G's. So our question of the hour, because I like to put it out there, is what's your EQ? Because we talk about IQ all the time. People brag about their IQ and how smart they are and blah, blah, blah. We never talk about their emotional intelligence. And so for those who are watching either now or in the replay, we are streaming live to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And of course, if you're on YouTube, we would love if you would like, share, and subscribe, because we get into some things here. We get into it. And so let me talk about our guest before we really get into it. Let me talk about our guest really quick, because it's a good one. This is Dr. Dale of Dale Reports. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Hello.
We want to get first, but before we talk about you, we like to do something fun here. We want to know 5 fun facts about Dr. Dale. What you got? What you got for us?
Okay. So unless you follow me, you don't know I was born and raised in Honduras, which is in Central America. Roatán, Honduras. So usually people are like, where is Honduras? It's in Central America, you guys. It's in Central America. And since we're on that little tip, let me give you guys a little fun fact about Honduras. Did you guys know that the Afro community in Honduras today were brought over as slaves from the Caribbean islands? So from Guyana, Bahamas, Trinidad, like all of that. Jamaica, they were brought over as slaves by the Spaniards. So for those that didn't know.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So about Dr. Dale, I am the last daughter of I'm the last child of Miriam and her favorites. My other siblings will be like, no. Everybody knows it. And I am about to complete this coming November 13 years happily married with my husband.
Oh, congrats to you.
Yes, 13 years post high school sweetheart. 20 years known each other. Great. He's my friend. That's 2. What is the other thing? I collect quotes, Gwendolyn. I collect quotes. Like I listen to I like watching movies, and I like collecting quotes from them.
Oh.
And I'll tell you one that I just got from and reading books, and I just like rhyming and seeing it. I just love it. And I'll tell you one of my favorite quotes right now. If you care, do something. If you don't care, please stay out of the way of those who's trying to do it.
Oh, I like that, because people are so quick to say like, what can't happen? It's like, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Stop being part of the problem.
Exactly. Because they're constantly focusing on that, right? Yeah. Let me give you another one. True power is not pretending to be what you are not. It's admitting the truth of who you are. And this goes perfect, right? Emotionally.
That goes well with this evening.
Exactly. I got that from Suits, their Netflix show.
Yeah, I love Suits.
That's where it came from. It was
like
a
Suits.
psychiatrist.
I go back and look at that one.
Yes. And another thing about me, I gonna share with you guys 5 of my bucket lists. Like,
okay,
5 things from my bucket list. I'm not gonna go to just 5.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, smile every day.
Okay. That's a good one.
Smile every day. I laugh out loud. Like everybody know. Do you know that I was written up for smiling too much back in the day?
At work?
At work.
Okay, so again, emotional intelligence in the workplace. Okay.
Yes. So 2, build my future home from scratch.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that.
From scratch. Own a children charity or shelter.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's 3. Give my mother and mother-in-law a life that they only dream about.
Oh, that's beautiful. Ooh,
right?
So thoughtful.
And lastly, complete my doctoral degree.
Now that one, we're all gonna shoot for that one for sure.
Yes. I think we're gonna stop there unless you guys want more. But I think that's
we will stop with that one, but I would like to dig deeper into your bucket list off the air. And let us also welcome in our community, because my mama showed up early. Mother understands that when you are early, you are on time, and if you're on time, you are late, and late is not acceptable. So good evening, Mother. Thank you for showing up. We also have Spencer here coming in from Atlanta. Hello, Spencer. Love to have you guys here. We want to get into it because I want to know about Dr. Dale Reports. Now, what is Dr. Dale Reports?
That is emotional intelligence coaching program that I started January of this year.
Oh, okay.
Just January of this year. I think, to be honest with you, I think it was a long time coming. You know, you're going throughout your life day to day, and you're wondering when is all of these dots are going to connect. That was the connection. When the end of the year happened, you know, New Year's and excitement and all that stuff. The minute New Year hit, 1/1/2023, I way before days leading up to it, I would start recording my day to day, my Christmas process, because I traveled for Christmas and I was just recording it and saving them. And I said, I've never posted online before. Like I would post when I had pictures and stuff. I'm like, these people are out here showing up in videos, and that's too much. I can't do that. Sharing their business and all this stuff. And I said, I've been watching for years. And then I finally said, it's time for me to do it. And I said,
Dr. Dale said, I'm showing up in 2023. Okay.
I did. I made that promise to myself, and I finally pressed send. On TikTok was the first time I posted all of my videos from Christmas and my, when I was journeying, going to see families and stuff. And January 1 happened. And from then, I've been following Clubhouse and Breakfast with Champions. For those that don't know, Breakfast with Champion, that is the room you need to be in on a daily basis. Positivity, inspiration, thought-provoking conversation.
Yes, thought-provoking conversation.
You agree. 100%.
I agree.
And going up in there every single day, I said I wanted to show up. And I had a dream. Back in Honduras, I remember looking out into the stars, and I would look up because we wanted to come up here to the States. And, every single time it was, one day it would be like, no, we can't go yet. Our paperwork is not done. Okay. Every day we would go to school and we would tell our friends, we're going to the States, me and my sister, we're going to the States. You guys are not going to be able to talk to us because we're going to be important. And I remember looking out at the window at the stars and saying, our time is going to come. And the time came, and I said, God, just make it happen. So a dream a prayer, and then a purpose. And here I am.
Oh man. Oh,
is it too much? Too fast? Is it too much? Too fast?
No, it is not. It is not. It is definitely not too fast. I'm just sitting here thinking, I was talking about daily blessings, I think like maybe 2 weeks ago, and how, we often take for granted the daily blessings. I'm listening to you coming from Honduras, and you're like, I was just dreaming of coming to the States, looking at the stars, and I'm thinking, for those of us who are here, we're just like, we're here. And we so often take for granted some of the freedoms, some of the opportunities that are available to us that we don't even think about it. It's just like, it's there, right? So no, it absolutely warms my heart. Absolutely warms my heart. I can't believe it. Yeah. We got more community showing up. We have Mary Lively. She is here and present. Shout out to my L. Thank you for showing up today. So you started this Dr. Dale Reports. Yes. 1/1/2023. You said it's been a long time coming. So what's been happening to you to bring this to the forefront?
I worked in a lot of nursing homes, a lot of long-term care rehabilitation centers, like a lot of different industries, but it seems like healthcare has been my thing. I went from the elderly to juvenile detention centers to now in the mental health space, right? Mm-hmm. And I kept on being at the front desk. I would answer phones, as admission coordinator, marketing coordinator. I just wanted to help. And to be honest with you, secretly, I was a little bit nosy. I was nosy at a lot of what was going on in all of the different departments. And I was at the front desk answering phones. So I would see the patient family and see the patient and see all the employees in and out the door. Let me tell you, the person at the front desk knows everything.
They do.
In case you guys didn't know, they know everything. Mm-hmm. All right. So employees would leave and they would tell me, hey, by the way, today's my last day. And I was like, what happened? And then they would give me the story and I'll be like, well, did you say anything to anybody? Do you want me to talk to them? And they're like, no, I'm done. I'm over it. Here's my number so we can stay in contact or whatever. I'm like, and it happened again and again and again. And I would go home to my husband. I would say, I would complain to him and he's like, I told you already. What are you going to do about it? He's like, because he would listen to the whole spiel of me talking. And now that I got it out my system, years after years, job after job, position after position, from frontline position to manager position to senior manager to director. And, even now in this space, and he, same thing. What are you going to do about it? And then I said, well, I can't do anything. I'm in this frontline. I'm in this position. They're not going to listen to me. I said those words as a frontline employee, and I kept on saying it as a manager, and I kept on saying it as a director, because you know why? That title did not give me the value that I was looking for. I needed to give it to myself. So I needed to bring my seat if there wasn't a seat. I needed to speak up. If I was holding other people responsible for what I didn't do and what I did do, right? I was blaming them. But in reality, I didn't take action on what I was witnessing.
As a person who has managed people, I understand the space of, if you follow the normal path, you see what others have done, and you will easily jump into that pattern and say, well, it's worked for them, so I'll just keep doing it. But there comes a point when you realize it's not working for me, and I don't like where it's going. Now, for those who have worked with me, they know that I'm good to get my head chopped off. I'm actually quite surprised. I kept my job for 25 years. Trust. But we had to say something because it needed to be said, right? And so we had to go there. Before we get to our next question, again, welcome everyone. We're just getting in. We haven't even got to the meat of it. Hey, shout out to our friend. Hello. Gary's in the building.
Hi,
Gary
Gary.
Jackson's in the building. He's here with us. Thank you for showing up, Gary. I want to get right into it because we're talking about emotional intelligence. And I know for myself, as we were talking earlier before we came on, I've been doing a lot of work. Started the work when I started managing people as a traveling sales trainer, because I needed to understand people. But then I thought I got to understand me as well, because I got to figure this out. So tell us about your dissertation that was focused on emotional intelligence.
My dissertation title was Strategies for Emotional Intelligence Training for Improving Employee Performance. Right? That's at the end of the day, employees perform better, organization perform better, organization thrives, everybody wins. Customers get what they need. That's the winning ticket, right? Mm-hmm. When I did that dissertation, and I started way before I started doing the data collection process, you know what I said? I said, oh, I got this in a handbag. I already know, because I already been through the experience, right? I said, these managers they don't like the employees. They making the environment negative, and the employees are leaving. So I thought I had it figured out. I thought I knew what the results was going to be. But I was wrong. I was wrong. It came out to be that, one, the organizations that I did the data collection with, these leaders, they adored their employees. And it happened time and time again. And they kept on exemplifying it. I'm not talking about the coordinator. I'm talking about the administrator because my dissertation focused on nursing home, short-term rehabilitation centers, right? And but it's plausible, right? And based on other researchers, that the same concept of emotional intelligence, not only in nursing homes, but also anywhere there's an employee, anywhere there's a human being, emotional intelligence can be developed and can be used, right? So I said, these were administrators. These were director of nurses. They are leading not only a department, the entire organization. And they were sitting down having focus group. They didn't get somebody else to do it. They were doing it. They sat down, they were having focus groups. They were meeting with people. They were putting, usually the nursing assistant, the certified nursing assistants that are getting paid $15, $18 an hour, or back in the day, it was like $12, $13 an hour, $10 an hour, $8 an hour. They were bringing them to the table every morning and asking them, tell us what you think happened with this patient. What do you think we should do? Usually, in my previous experience, they didn't have them nowhere near that. They just provided the care, the physical care, but their thoughts, their feedback, why wouldn't they be at the table? Why wouldn't they be? Yeah. Because they're taking care of that patient every day. They know that Mr. Tom gets up at this time, and when he gets up, he does this, 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 and this. They know his routine. So why would you not make them a part of the conversation on his care? And they were doing that. And I was like, what? And I saw they stayed there with the employee. And you know what? There was this administrator that said, I didn't only know what Tommy's birthday was. I know that Tommy had a mother, and I knew what her birthday was. And I was like, I'm like, what? You sure? He's like, yeah. And he would give me, they were giving me like their feedback and what happened, and hey Tommy, your baby's birthday, or she's been born today, right, or whatever. And they were like, yeah. He's like, how do you know that? Don't worry about it. I have a gift for you at your desk or whatever. And it's minor things like simple little $5, $1, or that thank you card. That's what made the difference in the environment of the organization. So I walked away, right, with 4 themes from my dissertation. Okay. And one of those themes were encouraging effective communication and empowerment.
It's very simple.
It sounds simple, and you would like, oh yeah, duh. Is it though? Is it like duh?
Well, Well, okay, so I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, and I'm also going to say no.
Okay.
Because like my history is, I'm going to say varied, because I saw a shift in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being a young person and being emotionally invested in this company, because I started when I was 19.
Oh, nice.
So I remember being able to work side by side with like the CEO and the president, and to have these kinds of conversations. Even though I was like a part-time employee, they didn't see your pay code. Didn't matter if you were full-time or part-time. That was not the point. The point was you should be aware of what's happening in the business, because you impact the business.
Mm-hmm.
And they treated you as such, right? So the further along I go, there was a shift to where people started leaning more on payroll terms and leadership titles. And I am clear, a title does not make you a leader. There are some people I wouldn't fall to the trash can. Real talk, right? So there was this shift of having this care and concern and being aware of people and getting their feedback that moved more to that, I'm going to use the term traditional, where it's above your pay grade. So we're not going to involve you in such things. And then you wonder why the morale shifts the way it does. I mean, it's just clear communication. It's not rocket science. Knowing someone's name, but there were people. As a matter of fact, the CEO, I thought it was just interesting how she would know people's names and birthdays and special events. I'm thinking, how does she even know all that? Like, who even told her about that? Yeah,
the time.
Yes.
Take
yeah.
care.
So here's something, and hold on, we have, Gary likes to says, it could be all so simple. Yeah.
It could, Gary.
There's a power play in there, because one of the things that comes from this chat about your dissertation is the state of America's EQ. Because we are just coming out of the pandemic that proved the shift for all the things that all the time, for those of us who worked in the office or what have you, we were told you can't do that at home, but we got to make money. So now you can do it at home, right? And there are a lot of folks, I believe, who worked harder and longer at home than when they did in the office. Then it became all these people who are in retail or service-related industries are essential. But now we're here today. Why are we still fighting for like paid sick leave, a living wage? Why are we still fighting for a hybrid schedule and changing the way we work? Why does it feel like some of these CEOs are tone deaf to what's happening here? So I just have to, I think it's a power play, but that's just me. But overall, added to that, not just because I know we have the workplace here, but I want to also add into this, feels like this influx of entitled people and some really nasty public behaviors. I have to think somebody's low on the EQ scale.
You know what? That's a fact. There is the stat says it. There was a recent article that came out. Even Daniel Goleman is considered the father in this century of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence was around since the 1960s, right? Since the 1960s, and right now the stats says that 36% of America, 36% of people in America are emotionally intelligent. Only 36%. And what you just said, it proves that the workplace, America, even after the COVID happened, you would think that, okay, we can work at home. Just take that one example. We can work at home now. No, because I need to make sure that you are actually working when you're home.
Right.
I need to make sure that you're working 8 hours long, hard. I said the same thing I could be doing at office, I can be doing at home. And you don't know anything. But the thing is that I'm gonna say it, and I don't know how acceptable this is gonna be. I'm gonna say the certain generation, there's that good old boys club. They are still there, and the trust that it can be implemented inside every single workplace is being taken away by that control for power. And how if I keep on letting go this leash, right, that I am letting you work from home, or I'm giving you too much freedom, I need to wheel you back in, G. So I'm gonna have you close tight to remind you who's in control.
You know what? I think you read my mind, Dr. Dale, because I was sitting here thinking, what happened when we stopped going into the office? Let's see. Gas was a pretty okay price because of COVID, right? So gas was like here. Gas was like, what, $1 and something? We're like $1.50 or something at one point. I was like, I need to get some gas. So I was like, well, I haven't gone anywhere and I can't go anywhere. So what's the point? There were people who, like, their businesses were impacted because they fed the lunch crowd. There's no lunch crowd. You have people who have all these offices. Dropbox said, we don't even need an office. Dropbox said, we are going 100% remote. We don't need this office. We'll just rent a space. So you got, there's money involved here. There is money involved. And then there's that power play. There's that power play of, well, how do I know that you're working? Can we just all agree? And if you're in the comments right now, let me know. Aren't we ready for a new way of working? Like, we're clearly past ready for a new way of working. We're past it. That 9 to 5, as a matter of fact, 9 to 5. When you think about the movie, and hopefully you've all seen 9 to 5, they were ahead of the game. They had childcare on site. Right. They had split shifts. They had different ways of working based on your lifestyle. That movie came out. When did that come out? Like 1970 something?
Yes.
1960. I don't know. Somebody let me know when 9 to 5 came out. They were ahead of the game. And here we are in 2023, still trying to get equal pay for women.
The 4-day work week.
The 4-day work week. Now, there are some jobs that require some things, right?
Right. Yeah.
But if we can do this, why can't we do it? That's the question. Like, why are we still doing this old thing? And it is a matter of people not letting go of that power.
Yeah, power.
I mean, it's a power play. It's a power money play.
Yeah.
We're going to call it what it is. If we're going to call it exactly what it is, because it's not a matter of I need to watch you work. I don't know the last time I recall a CEO coming downstairs to make sure somebody was working. I don't even, like, really? Are you really? You know how people say, well, we need to come back to the office to build camaraderie. This is to build team, to build culture. Are you kidding me? In what world? Because you're that pizza party on Friday.
Yeah.
in lieu of a salary increase.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I really needed that. I really needed it. Right. Gary says, before my time, Gary. Somebody please look up on the interwebs when 9 to 5 came out, please. Some assistance. But let's focus this on the individual, because now we're talking about what is emotional intelligence. We know about intelligence in terms of she's great with music and art and math and blah blah blah. But emotional intelligence, what is that?
Simple. I'm not going to give you the textbook where it says it's the ability to be able to manage and interpret your emotions to the way you can interact and have a better relationship with people. Yeah, that's too much. How about I just tell you, it is simply using your emotions in a healthy way to help you do and make decisions in your day-to-day.
I love that. Very, very simple. Very simple.
Like, I'm like, that's as bare bones as just use your emotions intelligently Use your emotions in a healthy way. Don't act out when you're feeling like you should. Don't do the opposite of something that's going to make you come out of character. Do the opposite of that in a healthy way that is going to help you be that best version of you and make the relationship, bridge the relationship, right? Not tear it apart at the end of the day.
So when I was reading the book about emotional intelligence, and I recall an example of a high school student, I think it was high school, had made straight A's all his life. And then he had received a less than grade.
Yeah.
Came back and stabbed the math teacher. And the math teacher didn't press charges because he saw it as the kid just didn't know how to respond to not getting what he had always received.
Right.
So this isn't one of the sidebars here, but now I'm thinking about it. Looking at generation, what is it? Y and Z or X and no, because I'm Gen X. So Y and Z. And the millennials?
Yes.
And this sort of, maybe it's just me. And I know that, media can make things a little
things. Yeah.
But is it me, or are we seeing this influx of anxiety because of helicopter parenting, that they never allowed their child to experience pain, disappointment, failure, whatever it is? Like everybody got the participation ribbon. Get my words out. Everybody got a trophy for showing up. And so now that they are of age and have to go into work, and you're like, but you're late. But I showed up. It's like, and you're still late because a minute after is not exactly, it's called late. And there's this sort of disconnect of, but I don't understand. I'm still here. Is the way that we made this sort of shift, and I hate to say shift in parenting, but there was a shift somewhere.
Right. Yes.
We saw it on the soccer fields. We saw it in all things. Well, everybody gets a prize. Nobody loses. But clearly that hasn't helped us.
No, it has not. Unfortunately, it has not. And I'll tell you this, throughout my career, I saw, the Gen Zs that, my dad knew this person. Oh, my dad runs the company, or knew this friend that got me in. And I was supposed to wait and get this title, this manager title, 6 months into the game, when you got people that been here years, and you got people more qualified.
Yeah, that sounds familiar too. I don't want to talk about it, but it sounds familiar. It sounds familiar because, we're discussing how do we manage those young people in the workplace, but I'm also looking at how are people managing themselves in society? Because as we mentioned before, there just seems to be this large influx of really ridiculous behavior where people don't know how to manage their emotions. So I got to break it down because I got two things on my brain here. I got two things on my brain. I need to break it down. So one, workplace. I admit I am Gen X, and I will tell you right now, because you were there, Adam Smith's his presentation, and Gary knows I love the phrase, facts are not feelings are not facts. I love that phrase. I recall saying it even before I had those words to my team. And there was this whole idea of, well, you're the manager, so you should just adjust to the person. And I feel as if there's a lack of accountability that is removed from the conversation.
Yes.
That we are allowing people to not hold themselves accountable, not grow their self-intelligence, and just, I don't know. I don't want to use the word, coddle. We're going to coddle.
But we're being self-aware, so we got to call it what it is, right? We got to call it what it is. And to be honest with you, I have my team. There was a person that I had on my team that they felt like they could have received that director title, even though they've been at the job only 5-6 months and has never been in HR before. And I was said, well, the qualifications. Let's start there. And then I slowly, yes, of course, I met with the person. I explained it to them and kind of bridged that gap that they thought they understood. And I said, well, one, you don't meet the minimum qualifications. You need to have the 5 years. And but I've been holding down the department, and I thanked you and gave you, this bonus for helping us through that process. Yeah, but you don't think I should get it? Well, you missed what I said, right? So talking through that with a person. So I work with the person every step of the way. And then from then until now, we are 10 months in. They're like, oh yeah, I wasn't ready. And I said, oh, because things kept on happening. And I said, I would have expected you to do this. I said, well, that's common sense. Why didn't I do that? I said, I don't know. That's why we're here.
Why we're here.
That's why we're here. That's why I didn't think you were ready. And that would be setting you up for failure if I put you in that position. Because I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm going to hold you accountable to every single bullet point on that job description. Mm-hmm. I can help guide you on some things, but you're going to ask me what to do, when to do, how to do it, who to do it. I'm like,
Yeah, you weren't ready.
Nah, you're not ready.
You're not ready.
We slowly had to come to that understanding. And I'm glad that I didn't I kind of took my time with them and explained it to them, because I saw that entitlement and where they felt like they earned it after being here only 5-6 months.
Well, okay, so let me go down that path, because I had to manage a team, and understanding, I learned my way of business from my father, right? He taught me early on that family and business it's nothing personal. So I have a Nino Brown mindset when it comes to business. It's just business based, never personal. Hopefully Gary understands New Jack City. Hopefully that's a good connection for him. Check that out if you haven't, Gary. Let us know. But so I don't put a lot of emotion into it. I understand that, yes, I am compassionate. I do understand what the employee's going through, but I also know that there are some very simple facts that need to be met as well.
Right.
So as a manager, there were times where, again, I go back to, there's this assumption that the accountability on the employee side just doesn't exist. Yeah. If you are, well, I'm going to use one of my trigger words. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. I hated when people, and I use the word hate. No, I detested when people would say, Gwendolyn, you're so intimidating. And it's like, no, Gwendolyn's not intimidating. No. If you have insecurities, or if you feel less than, has nothing to do with me. Nothing. If you're jealous because I look good and I walk in taking the room, that ain't nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. So in this place of individuals, one, why is our EQ just as important as our IQ? And how do we begin working on the self-awareness and that self-accountability, not just for the workplace, but for our individual relationships? Because I'm sure you've heard the deal of, well, I'm just being honest. It's not my fault that it hurts. No, that's not being honest. No.
Honesty does not equal, you don't have to be rude about it. And people are mirroring them it goes hand in hand. I can be completely honest with you and deliver that message in a way that is going to be healthy and is going to cause you to understand and break it down step by step and explain to you the why, right? A lot of managers is because I said so. And, don't, like our parents probably said it as well. It's because I said so. But you got to, for them to get the buy-in of whatever the decision is in the department, you got to explain the why. You got to tell them why they need to be here, why they, let them understand the whole picture. And I give to my team, I let them know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it to you guys. I'm give it to you. This is what it is. And this is what I need your help with. Are you with me or not? Or are you in with this vision? And then I ask them, tell me, what does this say to you? What does it speak to you? How do you feel about it? Like I get their buy-in and their understanding. And because we discussed it as a team, they know what's going on. It's not a surprise to them, right? And so therefore we're going in this direction, right? Even though we're coming at it from different points of views, they're coming in we're going in the same direction. EQ and IQ. EQ, of course, it's, your emotions and how you handle them and how you show up on a day-to-day basis. IQ is the traditional, it's the traditional mathematical, reasoning, logical, that kind of stuff, of course, but it's limited. It is limiting. And I'm going to break down this part that I shared in my dissertation to kind of connect both of them. Okay. So go with me here, G. They stated that the bodily sensations enter via the spinal cord and are processed by the ancient portion of the brain called the limbic system, right? This system is responsible for managing our emotions and our feelings. Mm-hmm. From this same systems, the nerve instincts travel to the cortex where people make their logical decisions. The issue here is that humans may make all their quick decisions in the limbic area way before it gets to the rational brain, the rational part of the brain. So way before we even decide, before I go on this trip, let me look up the location, let me look at the hotel, let me look and see how much it's going to cost. Let's look at the logical side of this trip we're going to take. No, EQ is saying, I don't care how much it costs. I'm there way before you even make up your mind on the details on whether or not you can afford it. No, we're going. I took my husband that he hates it. He's like, why? I said, because we're going. I just have to be over there. When I was going to the Dallas trip, he's like, why you need to go? I said, something is pulling me. So I'm going to figure out a way and I'm going to make it happen and I'm going to go.
I've always, it's funny. I've always said that humans are highly irrational animals. And if only 36% of Americans have any kind of EQ, then that explains exactly why I'm thinking they're highly irrational, like from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
There's no kind of thoughts. It's like, did you even think about what you were doing? You just did something.
Yes.
You just went there. That explains a great deal about that.
Both, right? But a couple years ago, there was a mini controversy saying that EQ was more important. Daniel Goleman even did a book saying EQ is more important than IQ, but in reality, today, best practice, you need them both. You need them both. You need your heart and you need your brain. Bring them both together. That's why EQ, when you look at anybody talking about it, they're showing the little emoji is of a heart, right? And the brain. You're bringing them both together, marrying. That's why my logo is like in the shape of a heart, and then the
bumpy parts.
The brain is the brain part, because you need. You laughing at me?
You need them both. You can't wait. We don't have any Vulcans here yet, so we need them both. Couple of comments. Gary says that 9 to 5 came out. Oh, it's in 1980. Oh, well before my time. Thank you, Gary. We appreciate that. And then he also says that he grew up off of New Jack City, so I don't want to test his gangster. Okay, fine. I just want to make sure that you can actually understand when I'm throwing out some of these references, that they make sense for you. What can I tell you? So here's the deal, though, because I'm writing this, I'm looking at how a lot of what we do is impacted by fear. Motivated by fear, right? And when we talk about emotional intelligence, specifically looking at feedback and criticism, let me just go for that specific topic, because I remember that there were people I would want to give feedback to, and I would see people literally start shaking, physically shaking. And I thought, okay, clearly you're bringing in some trauma from some previous job into this relationship, this brand new relationship. And I thought, this is awful. And there were certain people that we were told, just don't bother, because but I don't believe that you can go to a place of just you just let somebody go. Like at some point you have to grow up, put on all the armor and figure out. But feedback, I have always been told, is given on a consistent basis if you really care about somebody and you want them to be better. Now that is both for work and for your personal relationships, right? And the phrase that was given, I'm going to give it to it short. It was that you give caring, compassionate, consistent, clear feedback, right? You're not, even your communication is done that way. So that whole idea before of, well, it's the truth, I'm sorry that it hurts, is like, no, you can give someone a caring comment, a compassionate comment. You can deliver this a certain way. So how do we bring more light to it? Because we know we all have loved ones. And personally, I'm feeling like Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror. We should start with that person right there and figure out, as I was telling you earlier, my mother, she may want to chime in. I am fully aware, that this tongue, oh yeah, it can do some damage. It can do some damage.
It's small. It's small.
I'm fully aware.
And
so I've looked inside, and so I find myself, before I make a comment on something, again, you can't unring a bell, right? So once you put it out there, it is out there. So how do we, starting with ourselves, how do we say, okay, I am making the commitment to really look at myself and call a spade a spade? Because the American society, in my opinion, we love the idea of seeing ourselves as good people. These are really good Christian people. Not
Gee, you're bringing out all the stops on this one. Like, this is stuff people sweep under the rug. They don't want to talk about it. They pretend, they dance around it. And the thing is that the higher you go up in an organization, the more people shy away from the real conversation.
Right.
Unfortunately.
So how do we? I mean, when I'm looking at this, and I keep going back to the fear part. As a dear friend was sharing with me about, people are fearful of being themselves, and we'll use social media. Mm-hmm. I made a comment that a lot of people wear a mask, so much so,
yes,
that when they take it off, they can't even recognize themselves. They don't even know who they are because they're so used to putting on this mask. Now, I understand filters. I understand that you cannot. Now, take it back. You can do whatever you want to do. You are grown. Just know, if you do something that you probably shouldn't do, you might get popped in the mouth. I'm just saying. I do understand filters, right? Like putting on your desk filter to not offend someone, because you could be in a different country and not know their customs. And so therefore you put on a filter to say, I don't want to offend them. I'm not at home, so let me not put my feet up on somebody's couch, right? Like that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I keep coming back to this place of fear where we are fearful of being authentic. And I have to think it's because we haven't done the work to understand who we are as persons and have a real handle on our own emotions. Is that your opinion about where we are in terms of American society? And I also got to think that surely at some point, social media has made this an even harder path to walk, because people think, well, everything you said is being looked at. And we talked last week about cancel culture and how Lizzo and any other celebrity, they live in this bubble, and so they have to live a life that's not even is close to perfect. It's not possible.
So, oh my gosh, gee, you said so much.
Sorry.
You're good.
I'm sorry, people, I'm sorry. I'm trying to, and I would, okay, real quick, while you're thinking of your answer, I want to know how many people watching now or in the replay consider themselves to be self-aware. Like when you look in the mirror, you have no problem calling yourself out when you know you have crossed the line and done all the things you should not have done or probably should not have said. I'm just curious.
No question. No question. Yeah. It's because they don't know who they are. They don't know whose they are, mm-hmm. Right? And they don't know how to move forward from there. Mm-hmm. So if you're not self-aware, you you're scared to point out not only who you are and what are your triggers, your weaknesses, what makes you you. You're scared to do those things. You're definitely not going to point it out in other people, right? So you hide, right? And you pretend, and because you don't want nobody pointing at you, so you don't point at anybody else, right? And if you do point, you do this passive aggressive thing that they do in the workplace. Wait, like, don't even get me started on that.
You just say that passive aggressive is just aggressive. I mean, it's flat out aggression.
Like, if you're gonna say, just say it.
Say it.
If you're gonna say, right? Carry on, say what you just say what you're gonna say. And because they don't know, they don't want to deal, right? Avoidance, right? That 100%. And I came up with, in my group coaching program, there is the power. You were mentioning about conflicts, right? They said there's a 5 to 1, right? You get, every time you give somebody a feedback, you give 1 negative for 5 positives.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So imagine, because they're going to hold on to that 1 negative, and you need to overshadow it with all of this positive, because that's what your brain is going to remember, because they have not done the work. Right? They haven't done the work, right? And that's human beings for you, right? So it's important. How do you get this out there? Educate yourself. Training, and for those, depending on how deep that therapy, that issue that you have, that trauma, it's mental health is a real thing. And COVID has shown that to us, right? Yeah. And depending on how deep it is, go see a psychologist. Talk to your family member, those that you trust, your friend. Get connected. Get in I'm a part of the Elite Star Fitness, and get a part of that group. And every Monday we have an accountability call. You said you're gonna do this. You said you want to work on this, and it's not only for your business, but for you as a person. You as a human being, you showing up every day as your best self, right? And I'll be honest, I got on 1 or 2 of those calls and I said, today I'm not feeling like it, you guys. And then by the end of that call, I was so, because they already got to know me a little bit, they're like, they said one question, and that got me so invigorated and motivated that I started the call like this. And I ended the call like, yeah, and I was doing this and I was doing that. And I was so excited because they fed into, what my strengths was, and what re-energizes me, right? What re-energizes you. You should know that, right? If you have done the work. And I know at this point in time, been on my journey now, it's going on 7-8 years, and you never arrive, right? You're always
working.
You're always, I didn't know that before.
You're evolving. We are evolving.
You should be, right? And that's okay, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But the point is that not taking out your anger on somebody else, right? Not pushing somebody to their buttons because you don't know, that you didn't forgive your father way back when for what he did to your mom, and you are here acting out all crazy, and with your employees. Like, seriously, I've told some people, I'm like, you need therapy. Go see a therapist. Yes, because you're not going to talk to me like that.
I will say that there came a point when Gwendolyn made it. Because on a whole separate topic, which we'll probably talk about off camera and then bring it to camera, that, sometimes some of us take on the role of being people's emotional mules and taking on all of their trauma and their baggage as if we don't have our own. Yeah, that's a no for Gwendolyn. Like, we cut that out a long time ago. It's like, you got problems, you need to go find you somebody. I'm not your therapist. Yeah. I'm not your person, as to say. I'm not your person. I am not. And this is a working relationship.
Needs to stop promoting those people. Gosh darn it, stop promoting them. Yeah. Oh, because they've been here a long time, they can do the job. Yeah. They are running people off. If you really sit down and do the numbers, there's a book called, and one of my favorite books, Gwendolyn, I wrote it, I put it in my dissertation in my chair. He said, really? Really, Dale? I said, yeah. The book is called The No Asshole Rule. And he's a doctor. He got his PhD. And I quoted the book time and time again because being civil in an uncivilized world.
Yeah.
Right? And time and time again, when you sit down, you do the numbers, all of the people that walked out of that department compared to that person and their salary and what they're bringing in, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
No, I mean, there are some basics where, like, you have to know if you have a virus in your organization, it's going to kill the whole tree, right? So what you typically do is you cut off the limb that's making everybody else sick, and then the tree continues to flourish.
Exactly.
Or you can let the whole tree die.
Exactly.
We've seen both. I'm like, at what point do you stop letting this virus infect other people? Like, you got to know that there's a common denominator here. You gotta know it. We got comments coming in. Gary says, when I was younger, heck no, mom will, I will do it, Lord bless. But Gary's growing. Gary is growing. Thank you, Gary, for your growth. We got Spencer. I love blaming that guy in the mirror for stuff. And he somehow always takes the blame. It's never me. It's always him. Thank God he only shows up in the bathroom. You don't want him on the streets. Thank you, Spencer. We don't want him on the streets.
We don't want him on the streets. Very good, Spencer.
And hey, shout out to Melody, who is here. Good evening, Melody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us here. You know, we are talking about emotional intelligence and how it impacts and the importance of it in the workplace. The one thing that we really haven't said specifically is that, whatever workplace you're working in, it starts here. So hopefully you are picking up the message we have been putting down, right? Because it's easy to say that it's the manager who needs to work on it, or it's the so-and-so. But I have noticed when we change our relationship and how we show up in places, people have to react to that shift in energy and mindset and behavior. Lord knows I am not the kid, but I was 19 working in places and doing stuff. I don't know if it got better or worse. I can't really tell. I'm not really sure, depending on the day. I think it kind of went the other way around sometimes.
People would tell you around you. They would tell you.
People have shared that they did see a difference in my behavior. So there has I've even seen the changes in myself from here to there, both personal and when I was working in the corporate office. But I got a sidebar for you because I love it. How are you showing up authentically in social spaces? Because I go back to that place with social media that people like to think that, let's say in terms of business, there's their business persona and then their personal persona. I hate that. I hate it. When I say I hate it, I mean it with a vengeance. I hate the idea that people are like, well, this is me when I'm here, and then I have my alter ego. When it's no, I don't. But that's just me. What about you?
I have to agree with you, G. I have to be me. And however that shows up, however that comes out, this is it right here.
Yeah.
Right. And one thing that I do, I make sure that I go into the conversation hearing my own voice, hearing what I'm saying. Because you can hear what people are saying, but I have already had this conversation with myself time and time again. What am I saying to myself? And what I say to myself is, any room that you go in, make sure that when you walk away, they remember you. You're talking about shift. You were talking about shift. Shift the rooms that you go into. And you shift them by you making sure that you share your voice, your piece. Say your piece before you leave that piece.
I love that. I love it. Melody also agrees. Now here's the kicker, because I hate how this is coming up right before. I know we got a few minutes here, but I want to ask. You know how people say someone's perception is their reality?
Yes.
And we must respect their perception. How far does that go? Because I know how I feel about it. but how far does it go? Because I can't help but believe that a little bit of that is a lack of emotional intelligence. That when people say, I feel as if she was coming for me, or that they are out to get me, like some of it is real. I say real because I have had people literally have this really weird obsession. I kid you not. I was like, yeah, I got to check that. And I mean that. And in the beginning, it was, Gwendolyn, you're insane. That's not really true. That's not happening. Because, God forbid that Black women actually say stuff and people actually would believe us, but, whatever. But when the person walked past this group and heard the words, they thought, okay, maybe you are correct. So I understand that there are folks, when they perceive things, that's their reality. But I also have to wonder if a little bit of that is a lack of emotional intelligence, where again, we shift the blame to somebody else.
It's a very thin line, empathy, because that's the difference between, because that's seeing it from another person's perspective. That's where empathy comes in, right? But the thin line between that person point of view and them and you not taking advantage of where they're coming from, it's thin. So then what do? The communication, the effective, see how they're communicating, see what they're saying, how they're saying it, look at their tone, look at their body language, how they're communicating. Is it really something that they're passionate and they're passionate about? People, to some degree, unfortunately, you would call it what it is, they want you to feel sorry for that victim. They put themselves in that space. They put themselves over there, and then you're like, well, that's not where we were going. And then they decide they want to stay there. And then you forever feeling sorry for them, forever giving them the pass, and forever forgiving them, and forever blaming you. Oh, maybe it was me. Maybe I was the one that was a little bit too much. No. You were right. It's just that they have stuff they need to deal with that they haven't addressed yet. And now it's coming out in this very thin line of you being empathetic and you not getting run over.
Well, Lord knows that we don't have the time to talk about trigger language, because nothing gets anything moving until someone says, well, I felt threatened in this hostile, toxic environment. I'm like,
please.
That was all until like 5 minutes ago. But okay, so let's wrap this. Let's wrap it up. Here we go. What's in the future for you and Dr. Dale Reports?
Oh my goodness, there's so much. So I am I'm in the process of finishing my current group coaching that I have, intimate group of individuals, learning about all themselves. And now 16 weeks later, because I added an additional month for them. And it was so much. It added so much to me. So I'm going to give your view, I want to give you guys something in terms of, you say when you guys are processing and you're going through your emotions, and they always say the power of pause, right? And that is so true, right? When you feel like you're getting out of character and somebody's saying something and it's triggering you, stop, breathe, pause, right? Take a breath. And I developed throughout my coaching I said, check your pulse. And there's an acronym.
Okay.
And the acronym I have is ponder, understand, language, show, and engage. So ponder deeply how you feel about the particular situation. Once you stop, you thought, you breathe, now you need to figure out how you're going to process this situation. And this is the process. Check your pulse. The pulse is ponder the situation, see how you feel about the given situation. Number 2, understand and gain insight into what the situation is. You already know how you feel. Do you need to go do some fact finding? Do you need to talk to somebody else? Do you need to gather more information? Right? So understand what the situation is. 3rd, L, your language. Check your language. Your mom always said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Right? And then show up. You're not going to say anything that is going to be against your values. So when you go out in these streets and you're acting all crazy, is that who you are? Think about that, because that's what you're saying that you are.
Yeah.
You're out here cursing, yelling at people, and I'm going to get him. And you don't, is that who you are? Check your language, check your body language, because that's who you're showing people that you are, right? And S, demonstrate your values, demonstrate your beliefs, right? And fully engage in the conversation. Put your phone down, look at the person eye to eye, and let them know this is how you feel about the conversation, this is how you feel about whatever, and that you want it to work, whatever it is you want to work. So engage in the conversation. Right?
Clearly, you've been in my head a long time ago before we even met, Dr. Dale. Clearly.
So I have my digital course that's coming out September 25th. So you guys can watch out for that for a very small fee. I have my free ebook. If you guys are interested, go to dalereports.com. My free ebook is there. And my podcast is coming out. My birthday, November 1st. So watch out for that. Dale Reports on EQ and You.
Dale Reports on EQ and You. That's the podcast name. I love it. That's awesome.
If you guys follow, subscribe, share, because I'm partnering with Tina Elite Star Fitness. We're doing a Mind, Body, Soul Awakening retreat in Honduras.
Oh.
So if you guys are ready, get your passports ready. Next year, May, we're going to Honduras for a couple of days, and we're going to connect our mind, our body, our soul, our spirit, and get to know ourselves better, and then make new friends and have fun while you do it. So 2024 has a lot coming up. My book is coming out as well. So yeah, just dalereports.com. Follow me on YouTube, Dr. Dale Reports. Dr. Dale Reports, follow, and thank you guys. This was a great conversation.
Oh, you know what? I tell you, I will say this. I will say this. This kind of work, it's not a one and done. It really is a consistent focus on evolving and being better, holding yourself accountable, having those conversations to say, okay, how could that have gone better? Right? When you feel like, oh, that didn't go down the way I wanted it to. It is not a one and done. But clearly, we've got the podcast coming out in November. Dr. Dale Reports, EQ and You. You've got your course right now. That's happening. Yeah. You got the ebook. The ebook drops in September, you said?
The ebook is already there. You can just
ebook's already there.
I got my book that's coming out next year, 2024, and then the retreat that's coming out next year. So there's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening. Dr. Dale, thank you so much for giving us this hour to just tip on. We're talking tip of the iceberg here, like just a little.
Just scratched it, just a little bit.
Just like a minor scratch. Not even like a dent, just a minor scratch.
Not at all.
We honestly pray that all of you have left here with something more that you can look at for yourself in terms of growing your emotional intelligence, making a difference in your relationships, both at work and then in your personal relationships, and just be prepared to do this work. Man, thank you so much, Dr. Dale, and for, of course, giving us pulse.
Check your pulse.
I literally would say pause.
If you guys want the breakdown, just reach out to me on social media or Dale Reports, and I can give you guys like the breakdown of it. Like it works, and it worked for every single client in my group. So yeah, for sure.
Well, Mary Lively is giving you congratulations. Mother was like, she's like, enjoy the network. Mother loves. She loves. We got some great stuff here. Thank you all for tuning in this evening. We're gonna have more amazing conversations. Dr. Dale, we have to get together and do like one more, because I want to get into some more deeper crevices. We're going to get some more deeper crevices, but check yourself. Look at the man in the mirror. Start with that person. Start today, as Michael said. Start today.
I see you.
Enjoy your evening, everybody. Thank you for watching another episode of Small Biz Bites with Gwendolyn R. Houston Jack, where we chat with other creatives and small business owners about their journey. And we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the GR Houston Jack YouTube channel, where you can get the latest and greatest.